Good morning, friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen. I'm the maker behind DoSo Knits, which is just my little corner of the internet where I share with you guys all the fiber-related things that have woven into my life. We have finished objects, things that I'm working on, things that I want to be working on. And since today is the first podcast in October, it'll be a year of Stash KAL update. So we'll do that as well today. So I don't have much admin at the beginning. If you'd like to follow me other places, I am DoSo Knits here on YouTube. I'm also DoSo Knits on Instagram and Ravelry as well. So before we get into what I have finished, we'll talk about what I am wearing. Today I am wearing a Musselburgh hat, which is a pattern by Ysolda Teague. I knit this in Knit Picks palette. The twist, and it's the Grizzly Heather, so it's a marled yarn. It's one of my favorite go-to hats, and today I'm not wearing glasses. I put contacts in, and it looks kind of weird. But I don't know, I just wanted to wear contacts today, so we are wearing contacts for the first time in quite a while. But yeah, there's not much admin at the beginning. If you haven't seen, I'm also doing Vlogtober this month. I'm not vlogging every day. I'm just doing a couple of kind of combined vlogs throughout October. I'll link it up here. I'm probably moving to just like weekend kind of vlogs because my weekdays are pretty much the same thing every day. Wake up, work, workout, knit, sleep. So we'll see if we get up to anything on the weekends. I've been posting those sporadically if you would like to check those out. But with that, that's basically everything. So we'll move into here really quickly, things I have finished since the last episode. Alright, so these are in no particular order because I do not remember exactly the order that I finished all of these things. But the first thing I'm going to show you is my Pure Joy shawl by Joji Locatelli. I started this very early in this year and I have finally finished it. So it used 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. I used a US 6, so it's a pretty good sized needle. And then my main color is Needles at the Ready in Cool Mint on their Apollo base. And then the contrasting was Neighborhood Fiber Company, the Rustic Fingering, which is a single ply, and the colorway was Edgewood. All in all, skein-wise, I used every bit of my Cool Mint color. Actually, on the very last round, I had to use a scrap just to finish the last Cool Mint round, and it was a pretty similar mint color, so you really can't tell at all. So I used like 100 grams. And then for my contrasting color, I used about 62 grams total for that. So honestly, I probably could have just shifted to the blue earlier when I ran out of that Cool Mint, but I didn't. So this is what it looks like. It's such a cool geometric or like interesting kind of design. Each of these wedges gets slightly bigger and it's all done with short rows. So it drapes really nicely, and it's definitely a nice fall kind of shawl to kind of throw on, wear as like a scarf. I think it's kind of cute. So that is the first thing I finished. I'm honestly not 100% sure if I'll be keeping this shawl or if I'll throw it into my gift bin. I may like hang it up where I have all my other shawls, see if I wear it, and then if I don't, throw it in my gift bin. But it's a really gorgeous minty color. The mint almost has like a blue tint to it. And with the navy, I think it's really, really beautiful. So I finished this because Needles at the Ready was co-hosting the Joji Summer KAL. And so the end of September was when that knit along finished. And so that gave me motivation to finish this. And I'm very happy that it's finally off my needles. It's such an easy knit. It's definitely not hard. I just let it linger for quite a while. So I'm very happy that that is finally done. So then the next thing I have is my Newborn Vertebrae by Kelly Van Niekerk. I knit this with Craft Nut yarns in the colorway Katniss Evergreen. It used 43 grams, so another fingering weight yarn. I knit this on a US 3, and it's so teeny tiny and so cute. So this is for my future nephew. Now that I've shown it, I can get a little box sent out to my sister-in-law. But it's so tiny and cute. So the newborn Vertebrae is just an open front baby cardigan, so if they ever spit up or anything, hopefully it doesn't get on the cardigan, but you can also use it to, you know, keep the baby warm, their arms and their back, and then it also has, you can do chest to chest skin time with the baby. I think it's so tiny and so cute. So this was an easy knit, definitely. Yeah, it was fun. Definitely had a lot of purling because you do work flat back and forth. So it was a good practice to kind of focus on purling tension. And yeah, I probably will make some other baby sweaters. I want to make like a little baby hat, but probably a little thicker yarn. I'll probably do like a DK weight. And maybe for like a slightly bigger size, like a 3 to 6 month or 9 to 12 month size, I'm thinking. So yeah, but that is my baby Vertebrae. It's so cute. Sorry, it's the newborn Vertebrae, because there's lots of different versions of this pattern. I think the newborn one is free on Ravelry, but the bigger sizes are paid for patterns. But with it only using 43 grams of yarn, you definitely could, if you have smaller feet like I do, you could use leftover sock scraps and make one of these. It's so tiny and so cute, and it's a really fun portable project to do. All right. And then the last finished object I have was a test knit that I did for Hygge Canyon, and these are the Feathertail Socks. It's based on the book Fourth Wing, which I really enjoyed reading, and Shane just finished reading it too, and he was also like, he read that book so quickly, and he is not a fast reader, but we're both very excited for the second book to be coming out in November. So this is my sock. This is one of them. So it's a pattern by Hygge Canyon. It's a really beautiful lace and cable texture down the front, but not complicated. The pattern row is only like once every 4 rounds. It's very easy to like learn and then work. It's not complicated lace at all, which I really prefer. And this is Les Garçons sock set. It was a Mysterious Crow sock set. It's from one of their clubs. And so the gray is Mysterious Crow, and it's a sparkle base. And then the brown that I did for my cuff and heel is Highland Coo. And it's on their sock set. I've done a lot of fingering weight projects. And I opted to do a shadow wrap heel instead of the very cool garter stitch heel flap that Kim designed for these, but I was running behind, and I can execute one of these heels a lot quicker than I can a heel flap. So I did finish both of these. I think it's such a beautiful and fun pattern. Highly recommend it. Please go check it out. Yeah, I don't do a ton of pattern socks, but I really love Kim's because it's usually like a front panel or a back panel, something not too complicated, but the results you get from the simplicity of the pattern, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like 8 pattern rows that I have to be glued to. It's one pattern row every so often, and then it just makes such a beautiful final product. So definitely check that out. Love these. I'm excited to wear them now that I've shown them here. And yeah, those are all of the finished objects that I have today, but I wanted to change up my order just a little bit. Normally I do Year of Stash winners at the end, but since all the projects that you guys submit are finished objects, I figured we would do that segment here. So first we'll talk about my stash changes for September. So for September, I feel like I did pretty good for my yearly goal of just using more than what I bring in. So for September, I brought in 27 skeins of yarn, which is a lot, but I brought in that Brooklyn Tweed Reply, which was 50 gram skeins, so that was 14 of them. And then I also got some Fisherman's wool, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but 27 skeins in this month, but I did get out 8 skeins and I destashed 19. So that made my net change for September of 0. And so that means year to date I'm at a -6, which is pretty good. And the way I'm moving into October, I feel like I'm gonna hit more negative digits. So that's pretty exciting for me. I'm doing pretty well, not bringing too much yarn in versus what I'm getting out. So now I'll move into the community stats for the year of Stash KAL. So every month I like to show it you guys complete. So this past month you guys entered 41 different projects, and we'll do a slideshow of all the projects that you guys entered here now. So this month, the total skeins out were 62 for you guys and 24 mini skeins. If you're not sure what the year of Stash KAL is, it's a year-long knit-along that I am hosting. As long as you finish a project that has some yarn from Stash that you had from before 2023, it counts. So you could, all of the finished objects that I had today, I'm pretty sure would have counted. So say in my Pure Joy, the mint was new, but the blue was old stash, then you could still enter this project. So just as long as you use some old stash, it counts. So there were 41 entries this past month, and I always pick a randomly generated winner. I use a random number generator of the 41 entries, and so this month the random winner is LaDawn Coburn. So congratulations. The entry that won for you was your Jolene's Jane hat. So it's really beautiful blue textured cabled kind of hat. It looks really, really lovely. So congratulations, LaDawn. Please send me an email with your shipping information and I will get a prize sent out to you. And thank you everyone who has submitted projects during this knit along. We only have 1 quarter left for the year, so make sure you're still trying to use a little bit of your stash. You can enter those projects, especially as we move into this season of like accessory knitting, hats and gloves and all these small projects. I think we'll see a lot of projects for this knit along. So thank you for participating. And yeah, so now we'll move into what I've been working on since the last episode. So I'll say I think I've been pretty like focused in my making. I've kind of like whittled down the amount of works in progress that I have, and I've really been focusing on, I just have been like really monogamous and wanting to focus on the projects that I have. I've still been doing my sprints. So I like to work on my bigger projects in like 4-hour segments. Although one of the projects I hit that 4-hour mark and I was like, I'm not switching. I'm going to keep working on it. But I did start my Desert Vista Dye Works socks for October, and these have kind of been my like out and about meeting kind of socks. So I knit on them during meetings or when we go, like yesterday we drove to dinner and it was like a 25-minute drive both ways, so I worked on this in the car and then in the restaurant as well. But this is where I'm at. So I'm knitting this for my stepdad Lee. I've done a 2x2 cuff, and then I did a slightly shorter leg. It's kind of like a calf. It's a little taller than ankle, but a little shorter than like an average foot or leg, just because his foot is a little long, so I wanted to make sure that I have enough. So I just did enough. I just stopped after this white stripe, and you can see there's 3 different stripes here. So then I did a shadow wrap heel. I had debated on doing an afterthought heel, and then I kind of got bored, so I wanted to do a shadow wrap heel. And now we're on to the foot. So I do have like a 10-inch foot to knit. It's either 10 inches of knitting or his foot is 10 inches. I'm not sure which, but I have quite a bit of knitting to do. And yeah, so that is where this is at. This colorway is from Desert Vista Dye Works on her Viso base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and the colorway is Zombody's Late. So yeah, these are just kind of my out and about meeting kind of knitting. And they've served me pretty well. I really like this colorway a lot. I think it's very, very cool. It's not what I expected it to look like at all. But I think the white stripe just really looks really clean comparison-wise. So yeah, that is my first project. I'm using a US 0 64 stitches for these. I did the shadow wrap heel, and it's in my Mountain State Stitches mountain bag. Then I've started some sweaters. So I believe it was 2 weeks ago. It was before last weekend, but I saw that Flannels and Purls on their Instagram mentioned that Joanne had like 25% off a Lion Brand and then 25% off a purchase. So I went and bought some Fisherman's wool. And what brought this on was I had recently started my Leith, which I had shown you guys in a previous podcast. It might have been the last one or the one before, but I wasn't sure about my colors. And since then I have ripped that out. I did show me frogging that in my vlogs. And so then I was on a mission to find a new sweater to make. I was looking for sweaters of stuff that's in my stash, and like, yes, of course, I have projects planned for the things that I've bought yarn for, but I didn't want to make any of those. So I digress. Flannels and Purls showed that Lion Brand's Fisherman's wool was on sale, which is a worsted weight yarn. I'll show it to you. So one skein of this was like $8. And it's 8 ounces, 227 grams, worsted weight, 465 yards. It's so much. And I've been wanting to make the Oversized Seasons cardigan by Ozetta for quite a while. It's been in my queue, and the yarn that I had originally slotted for it, I have now slotted that for my tessellated, so I need something new. And I just wanted something easy and chunky, and I really love cardigans, but I don't want to purl everything, and so I found this, and I thought this would be the perfect color and yarn for this sweater. So I started an Oversized Seasons cardigan by Ozetta. All that to say, that is what I did. So I have ripped stitches off of my needles. We will not do that. So it looks like a mess, but this is where I'm at. It's on a tiny needle, but I think the color is so gorgeous. So you cast on and you start with this button band. Now, at first I did the button band and I knit to 6 centimeters. And so you start the button band and you knit one way, and then you pick up and knit the other way. So you do that, and then you pick up from the button band to start the back panel. And then you keep going, you do your increases, but you keep the button band on smaller needles than the back. So you continue to knit the button band at the same time as knitting the back. So I have my twist chow goose here for that, because I don't have DPNs, and then my back needle is a bigger needle. So I have a US 7 for the back and a US 4 for the button band. So that's what this looks like. Now, what I was saying is I originally knit, so you knit button band one way, button band the other way, pick up, and then continue on. I knit it to 6 centimeters the first time, both sides, so it was 12 centimeters long. And then you were supposed to pick up a certain amount of stitches, and I was like, how in the world am I supposed to pick up this many stitches in like a piece this wide? I ended up like trying to pick up like 2 stitches per every stitch that was in the button band. I was like, maybe it's because it's ribbing, like I need to pick up more stitches in the area. And I was so confused. So then I went and I looked at the video of like picking up the stitches for the back from the button band, and I like looked at it and I was like, there's no, like she's not knit a bigger size just for this demonstration. I was like, I'm so confused. I'm supposed to knit to 6 inches, not 6 centimeters. That's quite a big difference. So I ended up ripping back, knit this to 6 inches on each side, and then I was able to pick up the stitches with no problem. I'm knitting the size 53 inches, so it's the extra large in the pattern. And I'm currently increasing for my raglans and my button band. So I haven't separated for sleeves. It's not very long. What's really nice about the Fisherman's rib is on the front, Fisherman's rib is like a knit below purl, so it's a ribbing. And then on the back, instead of purling, you knit all the stitches. So it's like a cardigan. I mean, it is a cardigan. I'm knitting a cardigan. However, I don't have to purl the backside. I just knit the backside. So once I got past that kerfuffle, it was all good. I did have a little confusion on the setup row starting. There are these raglan increases here. I was a little confused on how to continue the pattern on each side because it's not necessarily super clear in the written instructions, but in the video Ozetta mentions, like just to mirror what happens on each side of this raglan stitch. So you keep the raglan stitch as a knit, and if your last stitch before it was a purl, you should start with a purl on the next side. I just didn't think that was super clear in the pattern, but she does mention it in the video. So I feel like that's okay to mention here, just to say, like, if you're ever confused, just continue the ribbing that way. And that just sets up your pattern. But yeah, now I'm just working along. I have a long ways to go, but I ended up setting this down to start a new sweater. So I did like my 4 hours on this and then started another. I love how this Fisherman's wool smells. It smells so good. It's such a good yarn for the price. And with it being 100% wool, I can just split splice these together. And with it being 225 grams, I've knit this much and I still have this much left. Ah, I love it so much. So this, I think, is going to be such a classic and beautiful cardigan. I am down 1 needle size from what was written, but that's just because I'm a slightly looser knitter. But I also went to Joann. When I was there, I also bought some buttons. So I bought, Joann's is having buy 3 buttons, get 3 free. So I bought 3 sets of each of these. So I bought 3 of this style. They're just so dark. They're so hard to see. So it's like it's a bigger basket weave. And then this one is like a smaller basket weave. And with the cardigan, I think it's gonna look so good. So I'm unsure which button I'm gonna do yet. We'll see when I get to the end. But since they are buy 3 get 1 free and I needed to buy 5 buttons, I was already buying 3, so it's like, well, let me just grab 3 other buttons while I'm here. So I stocked up on that. Really, really like it. Very happy about this. Love this so much. I'm just in a garment zone. So that is that project. And this is living in one of my, this is my Firefly tote that I made last year. It has wax canvas and then cotton for this panel with really cute mushrooms. So then I also started a sweater for Shane. I was just ready for some projects. I felt a little guilty because I hadn't started a sweater for him in a while. And now I've started this and I am now obsessed with this. So I worked on my Seasons cardigan and then I was like, oh, I just need like another project on the needles because I was only having like socks, and that's for on the go. And so I had my Seasons cardigan and my Attune shawl. But I was like, I need like one more to cycle through. So I started the single malt sweater by Max the Knitter. This is an Aran weight sweater. It's textured. It's a raglan sweater, and I'm so happy. So this is my swatch. I did a swatch in the round. I'm using West Yorkshire Spinners Aran weight the Croft. The color is called Fettler. It's just a pretty green. Definitely have like a zone going on. So I knit it in the round, so I have all this in the back. I have 7 skeins of this yarn, which should be plenty. I bought this yarn for this project. So I swatched, hit gauge first time, which, yay! I love hitting gauge first time. And I have cast on. Now it's on a tiny needle, so it's a little hard to see. But here it is. Isn't this gorgeous? So it's a textured pattern, but it's so nice because you have like a knit purl round and then you have a knit round, which is amazing. I had swatched to do the Gibbs sweater for Shane, but in that one you have a knit purl round and then like an entire purl round. It's like 75% purls versus this one is 75% knit stitches. So definitely am preferring this, but I love the texture so much. And then on the raglan seams we have this really beautiful, it's like a stockinette with a rib stitch in the middle, kind of detail going down, and it just flows into the collar. I was a little worried that the collar was looking really, really tall. It's like 1 3/4 inches. But I think when you stretch it out, it looks better. And I looked at all the people who had finished it and it looks fine. But you do the short rows in the back collar. So the back collar is a bit taller than the front collar. But I think it looks beautiful. And you have this like really beautiful purl detail as you switch to the patterning. And then with this continuing down the side. So good. So I'm really enjoying working on this. This is the project. I hit my 4 hours of knitting and then I was supposed to switch to my attuned shawl and I was like, no, I'm gonna keep working on this. So I'm really, really enjoying this. I'm almost at the sleeve divide. I think that's what's kind of pushing me. I think I'm going to get to the sleeve separation, get it separated, have Shane try it on, and then I'll probably switch projects, but it's so beautiful. So I've really been enjoying this. It's knit on a US 6 for the ribbing and a US 8. So it goes pretty quick. Yeah, I really, really love it. And this West Yorkshire's Croft is such a dream to work with. It has such a nice hand to it. I mean, the Fisherman's wool does too, but something about the Shetland wool, it's like crisp but soft, and then you wash it and it's soft. And I don't know, it feels really, really lovely. And I bought that from Wool Warehouse, I believe, and so they ship here. Wool Warehouse is in the UK, but the shipping to the US is not that bad. And you can pick, they have their dye lots listed on the website and be like, we have 7 in this dye lot and blah 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 in this dye lot, so you can make sure you get the same dye lot, which is pretty cool. Also, I did have an issue when I got that. I had ordered 7 and I only got 6. And so they were able to ship me the last one that was missed in the same dye lot, and it came like within like 3 days. That's the other thing, is their shipping, even though it's from the UK, comes super quickly. So I highly recommend that as well. But yeah, that's basically all of the things I've been working on. It's really been focusing on these sweaters, and then when I'm out and about I work on this sock. Sometimes I've been working on a dishcloth when I'm in a meeting if, say, my sock wasn't at the right spot, but that's basically it. I've been doing a lot of spinning. I've been trying to finish up my tessellated spin, which I do have my first skein to show you. I guess it's like a half finished because I've plied and washed my first skein. Oh, isn't it so good? So this is Malabrigo New Bay, and this is the color. Added in, Kristen, will you put the color on the screen? Thank you. I had 3 braids of this, and so I was doing 3 skeins. It's just a 2-ply, and yeah. So I've plied and washed the first skein. I've plied my second skein, and I need to wind it off today to wash it. And then my last bobbin is on my wheel right there, and I finished spinning that bobbin last night. So after 3 days of letting it rest, I will ply that, and then it will get a bath, and then I'll probably be swatching for my tessellated here soon. I mean, I have 2 sweaters on the needle, so I'm probably not going to start super soon, but I probably will swatch. This came out to be about a sport, I believe. I haven't redone my wraps per inch after washing yet. But this is like, I'm a spinner. I'm a spinner, baby. I love it so much. There's definitely still some inconsistencies, but I feel like I'm so proud of this. I think it's so beautiful, and I'm so happy. So, you may be wondering how I finished spinning a bobbin, but also I have something on a wheel that's plied, and I need to take it off. So I bought an e-spinner. I have an Ashford E3 electric spinner. I bought it because I hate plying. Plying on my wheel is just really, really slow, and plying on my e-spinner is now much faster. So I've sat while watching TV with the e-spinner, and it just spins and spins, and then I can just feed it in and it can spin so much faster than I can treadle my feet, which allows this really beautiful twisted skein. So that was a little splurge to myself, but it was my gift of getting a new job, was my e-spinner. So I really love that. So I'll be giving my second skein a bath today, and then hopefully you'll see this start soon. I'm very happy with this. So yeah, that is like a half finished object because I'm still in the process of finishing the rest of those skeins, and then I can, you know, start my tessellated, get my final weights and measurements of yardage for my hand spun to see how much I have left. If you are a spinner, do you have a yardage counter? I'm very tempted about getting a yardage counter, which is something you just like hook up when you're caking up your yarn, and it tells you how many yards you have. I'm in the market of potentially getting one. So if you have one that you would recommend, please let me know in the comments below. Because if I could not rewind yarn after I soak it to figure out how much yardage I have, I would really like to skip that part of the process. So let me know. Alrighty, so then we'll move into acquisitions, which I don't have a ton of, so this will be pretty quick. So for this month, the only acquisition I have right now is my Homespun House Patreon set. And so these are the Patreon minis from August. Aren't they pretty? The colors are Puddle Jumper, Velvety, and Jellies. And then I also got my Patreon sock set, which is the colorway Witchy. And it's a 50-gram skein and a 20-gram mini, and this mini is sparkly. Isn't it so beautiful? So that is the only acquisition I've gotten so far this month. I should have a Yarnable box coming, but I don't have necessarily any big purchases coming for a while. So we shall see. Yeah. The rest of my plan today is to edit this video so that you guys can see. If you see it, hello, I finished editing. Thank you, Editing Kristen. And yeah, I'm going to continue working on these sweaters. I do want to prep a new spin. So since I finished spinning for my tessellated, I'm going to get my fiber ready. This is my One Thursday braid. I showed it in a last podcast, I believe. It's so fall. So I'm planning to do a 2-ply with this. I want to spin it on my e-spinner the whole time. And this is Harvest Bouquet. I have 8 ounces of merino. So I want to prep this today so I can start spinning it. Isn't it so beautiful? Ah. So yeah, fall is here definitely in Colorado. This morning we went and took like a 2.5-mile walk, just enjoying the beautiful weather. I've been listening to Hellbent. I'm almost done with that book. It's been interesting. I like it. I'm more so just invested in knowing where this story goes. I've also started reading Lonely Castle in the Mirror. That's kind of my lighthearted kind of book. It's like a magic realism. And then I'm also reading The House in the Pines, which is my thriller that I'm reading right now. I'm reading that on my Kindle, so it's my reading and knitting project. And yeah, the rest of the weekend we're planning to just kind of relax. I hope that you can have a relaxing weekend or week whenever you're watching this as well. I hope you've been able to put a little bit of love into every stitch you're making today, and thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you guys again in a couple weeks for another podcast episode, and hopefully a little bit sooner with a Vlogtober video. So thank you so much. If you like the channel, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps fund these monthly giveaways that I do every month and just keeps the channel going. So thank you guys as always. I will see you again very soon.